T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world, episode 536. Monday night's new breeder on the block. We have the Wild Type Podcast coming to the Trap Talk forefront tonight. But what is good? I'm your boy MJ. What is going on? I hope everyone has a great Labor Day weekend. September already, 2024. Where'd it go? This is nuts. But listen, if this is your first time hanging out, if you're into keeping reptiles, learning about reptiles, the market, the business side of the breeding side of things, whatever, this is the network to be subscribed to for sure, because I bring only the best to the Trap Talk Reptile Network, the most relevant. Okay, so by hitting that like button first and foremost and smashing that subscribe button, hitting that notification bell, you'll be reminded of every single podcast released out of the Trap Talk Reptile Network 7 days a week, all right? Monday through Sunday. Insane, right? Only Reptile Network doing that out there, so take advantage, man. Get all this information that will pursue you even further in the reptile game. Don't forget, you can also listen to Trap Talk Reptile Network on all the major audio platforms. There's Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to Trap Talk Reptile Network. Thank you so much. Really means a lot. And drop a comment, man. Give me some feedback in the comment section. I really take all the comments that you guys and feedback you give me to heart, because I want to hear what you guys want. Speaking of what you guys want, exclusive content. If you want exclusive content, you want to get more behind the scenes out of each episode, all right, you want to get to know me and 250 amazing animal keepers that are here for the long run, then come join the Trap Talk Patreon family for all this exclusive content. You click the very first link in the description below. As soon as you do that and join the Trap Talk Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, aka Trapcord, and there's an awesome Instagram group chat popping off 24/7. We have trappers all over the world. Okay, so somebody's always up talking about reptiles. So listen, all my trappers, all my Patreon members, I love you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are my heart. All right, early birds, I see you guys are here. First and foremost, Biggie Top G, Villarino Reptiles. Tired apparently, but I don't see it.
I just said good morning. You can tell I'm tired.
That's weird. Yeah, I was like, good morning. What are you talking about?
I've been up since 3 a.m., bro.
3 a.m. That's midnight my time. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I'm on my fourth bathroom trip by midnight. It's crazy. What's going on though, man? How you been? I know you've been busy. There's a lot of stuff in the making right now over in the Villarino compound. But what's going on, man? How's your Labor Day weekend?
Great, man. Just hustling, taking it to the next level. You've
had more clutches land, so you're in the 70s yet, or you just hit 70?
I hit 70 today. Yeah.
That's a record for you.
Yes.
Wow. Congrats.
I think I have 3 more. That's it.
Okay. You said 80 at the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
I had some reabsorb. So I'm pretty sure we're going to hit 500 babies. So.
Yeah. As expected, right? I mean, that's a lot of pairings, bro.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Just to even hit that many is quite a bit. So
hey, I've been doing this a long time, bro. I'm ready.
Yep. You want to say hi to some of the people in the chats? We got some early bird homies here. Excited for tonight's podcast. One of them being Kimberly Koopman. What's up, Kimberly? Already dropping a super chat. That's what I'm talking about. If you're in the chats tonight, if you think that tonight's episode's worthy of any super chats, like this lovely lady thinks so, drop a super chat, especially if you have a question or an important topic, whatever, man. Don't be shy. Krista, Neurify Exotics. Did you see her podcast last night? It was epic. Guys, I'm telling you right now, Sunday where you need to be is right here. Trap Talk Reptile Network is Krista's Neurify Exotics, Girls Who Love Reptiles podcast. She had an awesome show with Channing from Official Reptico. But, dude, Krista's killing it. Shout out to Krista. All right. Trap Talk Patreon member. V-Unit family all day, every day. Appreciate you. Man Freddy, the man MORPH Valley Reptiles in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member. V-Unit family all day, every day. Travis Gordon in the building. TNS Reptiles. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Kenneth Jordan. City Limit Exotics, Trap Talk Patreon member, V-Unit family all day, every day. The homie JC, Big JC in the building, Magic City Pythons, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. V Unit family. Big Mike, 1776 Exotics. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Royal Serpents, let me Jamil in the building. V Unit family all day, every day. We're going to end this in style with Colorfully Vulgar. The homie Dan. And he even said it. No better place to be than on a Monday night. Let's go. Shout out to Dan, V Unit family. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. And I got to say thank you to anyone out there who is doing what they should be doing. That's supporting US ARC. Shout out to all the US ARC members, supporters out there. And if you can't even afford to become a US ARC member, talk about it. Let your people know. And if you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. That's why the link's in the description below. Click on it, usarc.org. Read all about it. If you are a reptile keeper, animal keeper, you should be supporting US ARC. So shout out to you if you support US ARC and US ARC Florida. Phil Goss, the entire US ARC family. Appreciate everything that you do. I want to say shout out to tonight's sponsor, okay? The one and only Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. Head over to Morph Market, see what Mark Bailey has available. He had a lot of heat up there and quite a bit sold. So get your hands on some Mark Bailey productions on Morph Market. Check them out. Find the link in the description below. And appreciate too. I know we are already coming at the end of the year. We have to already start planning your trip back to San Diego. Or are you just going to wait for Trap Fest, I guess?
We'll see, bro.
No, but what do you mean? These are business trips, bro. You got to do this.
When's the next one?
Well, I think Pomona January is important.
Okay.
And then there's Trap Fest. So I haven't picked a date for Trap Fest yet, but it's probably going to be like more than middle of the year.
I'll probably do Trap Fest.
No, you will do Trap Fest. You have to. All right, listen. Shout out to also Focus Cube Habitats, #1 PVC design enclosures, Flexing Texas, all day, every day. What you see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC design enclosures by the finest, Focus Cube Habitats. Head over to focuscubehabitats.com, place your order, and handpick 30 plus different design PVC enclosures, okay, that your reptiles could just live fully in. All right, and thank you to Stephen Ashley. Appreciate you so much. Hopefully get to see Stephen Ashley at the mayor's party. That's right, because it's this week is NARBC Dallas. I'm curious to see what this show is going to be all about. I know you won't be able to make it, but what's your thoughts on Dallas NARBC?
I think it'll be better this time.
Yeah,
they'll kind of know what to expect, and this is the second time around. It's got to be better.
I'm looking forward to checking it out. And let me know if you're going.
Getting back to Pomona or Trap Fest. If that weekend's open, if I do go, it's probably to vent.
Say less.
Yeah,
please.
Because,
I don't, bro. You kidding me?
Alvaro,
yes.
My boy Alvaro and Eslin, they found ways to ship everything out and make it easier. So,
well, we could talk. All right.
Yep.
Last but not least, shout out to the chipper. The COCODude.com is where you could go and place your order for the #1 chipper substrate for your reptiles. If you go to the chipper or go to COCODude.com and place your order for chipper, you can put in TRAPFAM24 in the promo code and save yourself 24% off the entire order. That's COCODude.com, #1 cocoa substrate in the game. Shout out to the Coco Dude. And what do you know about these two females coming to tonight's show, Lissa and Neptune?
Nothing.
Wow, bro.
I mean, I'm being real.
Well, I remember they were there when you were there. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
This
yeah?
was Well, I don't know if you spoke to them, but I had a good conversation with them at the booth, and I'm pretty sure that was when you were there.
I was probably taking care of
You're
sales.
probably selling. Yeah, you're probably selling. But listen, as after I met them, obviously I looked them up to see what they had going on, and I got to say I'm pretty impressed. Like, you just have a different type of podcast out there in the reptile world, which are just two females, right? I mean, I know there's more female podcasters out there, but when you have appearance on your side, and what I mean by that, like they have a good setup, they have good mics, you know what I mean? Like it's quality right off the bat, you know what I mean?
And they look like they're having fun.
They're definitely having fun.
I skipped through a couple today, and they're having fun. So
and listen,
energy.
I don't feel like there's no acting going on when I'm speaking to them. They're just two girls casually enjoying what they're doing. And that's like what we're doing. You know what I mean? It's like we're almost interviewing people like us, like two guys that love reptiles and there's two girls, you know what I mean? And we're going to talk about it. So you ready to bring them on? Listen, Neptune, are you ready or what?
Let's go.
All right, guys, shout out to everyone in the chats, but it's time. All right, do what you got to do to get your mind right. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated. Episode 536, Lissa and Neptune from the Wild Type Podcast. Coming at you right now. Let's go. Sure.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man,
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Tell 'em.
exclusive. Oh,
So stop calling us.
Scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
and we're live, episode 536, the Wild Type Podcast. Lissa and Neptune, what is up?
Hello.
Hey.
We were jamming.
I know. It's such a bop. I love it.
Can I tell you about look at their audio quality. Like
Yeah,
this
it
is
sounds amazing.
crazy.
testing,
Like,
testing.
Testing.
we're just not used to this. We're used to either like, oh shit, this person can't get on, they don't know how to click on, or like, you know what I mean? But again, I'm so happy we met, and it was so cool to see two females who were just kind of just taking this serious, but not really. Like, what I mean by serious, you're presenting yourselves like you guys really mean business, but you guys are obviously yourselves just enjoying what you're doing. And that's talking about reptiles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys made it all the way to California when we met. You're at a
Yeah.
Pomona Reptile Super Show, so that already shows me how much vested you are into this game by traveling and doing all that. Because I think that's everything. If you would have never done that, we would have never met. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
before we get into all that and stuff, like how far do you two go back? Like how tight are you girls? You know what I mean?
Oh, we're
Over 5 years.
yeah, close to 6.
6 years
I
now?
think 5 to 6 years. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
maybe 2018-ish when we met, I think.
We
So,
met before TikTok was a thing, before I was on YouTube.
Yeah.
I slid in her DMs, honestly, on
Yeah.
Instagram, and like the rest is history.
I know.
Yeah, and it was all about reptiles from the beginning. And what brought you two together?
Yeah, I think did I still have my account as Barney the Chameleon back
No,
then?
you had
okay.
your lizard account. Yeah.
We both had chameleons, and so I had posted something on my story, basically like hiding all of my reptiles from like my apartment maintenance people.
Okay.
And so she slid in and was like, "Oh my gosh, I need all the tips."
Like, because I had just gone through it where like I had my maintenance guy come in, and anyone
Yeah.
who keeps reptiles in apartments knows the struggle
Yep.
of like you're not supposed to have them, but you have them anyways. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I know the struggles. And at the time, I was just Neptune the chameleon. I only had Neptune, and like my face wasn't anywhere on it. Like, it was just a place for me to post my chameleon and follow other chameleon accounts without annoying my personal friends and family, you know? And so we ended up figuring out that we lived in the same city. And then we agreed to meet up at one of our local reptile shops. And I realized up until this point, she had no idea that I wasn't like a 40-year-old guy, that I was like also a girl in my 20s.
In hindsight, I was a little
Where-
crazy for not like clarifying who she
Where you
was
guys-
before agreeing to meet up with her.
Where are you guys from?
Oh, we're in the Texas area, but otherwise we try and keep our personal info on the DL.
Texas is big. They're in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and okay, it's funny you say that, because you know how many times I've even met people who I didn't think what's like, you know, I thought, okay, there's either a dude, right? But it's not
Yeah.
a dude. But not only that, sometimes the age is like, you got people who have been running like an Instagram account for I don't know how many years, and they're like young. They're super young.
Yeah.
And one thing I love about the reptile world is like young, dedicated reptile keepers are built differently. Like they're mature. Like they're a little more advanced than your typical like people like teenagers that age. And I know this because I met so many of them. But like you don't know until you actually link up with the person. And I feel like nowadays it's a lot more easier to find out like who this person is. But if we're going back in 2018, that was still like a brand new like thing for a lot of people with Instagram. And, like, you know, I think lives came in like or what was it, Instagram television or whatever, came in 2019 or like so like a lot of that stuff was still brand new. And like even, you know, internet still is a scary place where it can be, but it's a lot easier to know who you're talking to, like I'm saying. But even back then, like it's funny that you guys, like, you didn't know you were talking to an actual female.
Exactly.
Around your age or your age. And how old are you girls? You guys look really young. How old are you?
I'm 31.
I'm 28.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you guys are right there. You guys are right there in the same age group.
Yeah.
Okay,
For
cool.
sure.
All right. So listen, Texas, like the mecca of reptile keepers for sure.
Yep.
You know, you have Florida.
Spot.
You have Florida, but Texas is just like the land. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many reptile lovers and keepers. But before, you know, something I'm just thinking about, like NARBC Dallas, which you girls are going to this weekend.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you guys. I know you guys are gonna have a booth. Okay. But you guys are obviously into reptiles that just aren't ball pythons. Okay.
True.
Neither of us have ball pythons.
I know.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's a change. That's a change of pace for this episode.
Hey.
Sorry, Emilio.
But how do you feel about Dallas NARBC being so strict about certain reptiles being there, like, you know, bigger snakes? Isn't that kind of weird to you guys?
Yeah.
We've attended the Arlington show for years, as
Yeah.
long as we've known each other. I know you were attending it long before that as well. So we've seen the show grow and evolve over the years. So we went to the NRBC Dallas show when it happened in the spring for the first time. And we've gone to other shows there, like Aquashella is out of the same venue. So we were familiar with the venue. So we think, I mean, I personally think the location is really good as far as proximity to DFW airport and things like that. But yeah, the limitation of the animals you can bring is a little bit of a
definitely a bummer. And I'm a bigger snake girl. I love the big snakes. They're my favorite. So I was a little sad not to see as many, because that's definitely something I look forward to.
No, there's a lot of big snake keepers in Texas too, like a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Dallas kind of got that Florida vibe.
I think if you just apply for the license, then you can sell them, or like you can sell them, but like you can do the transactions like outside the city limits. So there's like
hop county
workarounds.
Yeah. But we did meet a handful of breeders and talk to them who were, I guess, doing some kind of like purchase slip or something. And then you can do the exchange later, like, or something like that. So it was really interesting. Definitely a little bit of extra work for the breeders for sure.
Yeah.
I just think it's unnecessary. Like, it's Texas. Can we just relax?
Right?
Come on. Like, you would think that that's why you had, okay, let's think about all the, because there's always USARC like updates and like, you know, be careful for this. And that's been going on for years. But like, you would think in 2018, like what was everyone saying? Well, if everything hits the fan, I'm just going to Texas. Like everyone always says, we're just going to Texas. But like, is even Texas a safe place now? Like, I don't even know.
And it's funny because Texas is, for the most part, in terms of like regulations, like the majority of species you can keep. Like you can keep so many like hot species. You can keep so many just different things. It's for whatever reason, just the Dallas County, I guess, that is the issue. So it's, which
but if you're outside the county lines, then you're fine.
Yeah, you're totally fine. Because I know a lot of people can, you know, keep Gila monsters, rattlesnakes, like all kinds. I mean, there's little to no limitations in Texas, but for whatever reason, Dallas County is the one that's real strict.
Yeah. What's your guys' weather right now? I mean, I know it's going to be cooler this week, but you guys been having some crazy temps this summer, right?
This summer's been actually cooler than last summer. Last summer was rough with the heat. This summer, it's cooled down a little bit. We've had like a little more rain than usual, which has been nice.
So last weekend, everyone was like, this is the last weekend of summer. I'm like, unless you live in Texas, because we've got another month of warm weather.
We have what we call fake fall, where it tricks you for a good month. And then all of a sudden we'll get like a really, really hot October for like 2 or 3 weeks. So
and then the cold front comes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and hopefully we won't get another freeze anytime soon, because that was not a fun situation.
Yeah, how did you guys take? You know, since obviously 2018, you guys been involved in the industry, like as far as paying attention. You guys obviously knew what happened in Texas with that crazy disaster, all the power going off and animals freezing.
Oh yeah.
Were you guys affected by that at all?
I got so incredibly lucky. I think somehow I was lucky enough to be on like a hospital grid. And so I was, nearby a local hospital. And so I actually never lost power. I don't know. I mean, God, I was so lucky with that, but I was prepared. I had all of my like little temporary setups, like the little tubs and things, and I was going to put them in my car if I had to.
Yeah, I
was
also
like,
was lucky, but very prepared to go to Walmart with
Yeah.
my chameleons if need
What a
be. So
nightmare.
yeah, it was so scary. I was terrified because I knew that if I was out of power for more than 24 hours, I would lose some of my pets. So,
And that was a historical weather event. Like you guys have
Mhm.
not seen anything like, so it's not like you guys can see that
No.
coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the Texas power grid, I think just because we don't deal with cold temps that often, was just not prepared. It was crazy. So,
Wow. That's insane. So now with you girls just loving the reptiles as far as, you know, what they are, I mean, have you guys ever considered breeding? Or is there any breeding projects going on with either of you guys?
I'm like, this one right
guilty.
here.
Guilty. Yeah. So I have chameleons. That's like my thing. I also have a crested gecko named Pluto, but a lot of people don't know about him. But yeah, so I have chameleons, and so I'm in the process of trying to breed my panther chameleons. I actually posted a YouTube video just on Saturday about my female chameleon breaking her jaw. So that's kind of like
Whoa.
hot off the press. And it was through a
What's the
breeding
name-
accident.
What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Neptune the chameleon.
Wow. Oh, Neptune the Chameleon. Okay.
Mhm.
And so go ahead and continue. What were you saying about your
Yeah, so I just posted a video about this. Happened back in February. So I was introducing my male and female, and if anyone, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on like the ball python and other snake species you breed, but at least in the lizard world with breeding, it's no secret that it can be a little rough around the edges, right? When it
Little
comes to
destructive.
introducing males and females, and chameleons are no different. So my female got defensive towards my male, gaped, and when she did, she kind of like whacked my, see, she broke her jaw. It's very,
That's
it's her x-ray.
hey, 63,000 subscribers? That's impressive.
Yeah.
Woo woo.
Thank you.
Props to you. How long you've had this channel for?
Since 2018 August, so
Oh,
5 years.
wow.
Yeah.
And it's primarily wrapped around Neptune the chameleon. Like it's all about like really chameleons. That's like
It's exclusively chameleon content. Yep.
awesome.
I like to call her the chameleon queen.
So so 7 years as far as this channel goes, but you've been working with this species for how many years?
The same amount of time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Wow. So as soon as you start working with it, you started a channel.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can give a little history of that. So I was big on like the chameleon forums, which is like a thread, where you can write everything out, but you just end up repeating the same information of the UVB, the supplements, the same care. And no one had a YouTube channel dedicated to just chameleons. This was back in like pet tuber days, right? Where someone had like 15 species and one of them happened to be a chameleon. And so I was like, no one's really specializing just in this space. So I was like, why not me? And so that's how I got started. That's how we got introduced. So both of us have big social media followings individually, and then we've come together for the podcast.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It's kind of what me and Emilio does. Like Emilio has his force with the ball python community as far as like what he's been doing for almost 20 years now. Emilio, how many years you been doing ball pythons now?
Wow.
Just about 19. Year 19.
You don't even look that old, huh? It's crazy.
That's impressive. That's a long time.
That's when you know you're really in.
Oh yeah, you're locked in for life.
Hey, full life.
Yeah.
So now Neptune, you're now approaching breeding at this point.
Yes.
Okay. And what's the approach like? I mean, you've done a lot of research. I saw you had Bill Strand on your channel. That guy's legendary.
We
So
love
like,
Bill.
yeah, Bill's awesome. So what all have you done as far as being ready to breed, and tell us what you know as far as how long it takes for them to incubate, like and all that. So yeah, because we don't talk about chameleons a lot. So
yeah, no, I will talk your ear off. Like I will do a whole episode just on. We actually did a whole podcast episode just on chameleons.
We did.
But so I'm focusing on panther chameleons right now. So veils and panthers are going to be the top two that you find in the pet trade for chameleons. So I have a couple of mentors. This is the advantage of having the social media following that I do, is that I have relationships with a lot of breeders that I've known for years. And I always recommend to anyone to find a mentor when it comes to breeding. And I'm, curious on the snake side if you guys, kind of do similar things where you can take, younger breeders under your wing. Because there's just things that you don't come across, right? Or little nuances or like body language that you may not pick up on that just comes with experience and time. So I think having a mentor is really fabulous. So I have 3 incredible mentors that have like helped me through. And so I got I've had Neptune for 6 years, but then I got a female last year with the intention of breeding her with Neptune. Panthers usually live around 5 to 7 years. So I started doing this when Neptune was like 4 or 5 years old, because I was like, if I'm going to do this, I don't have a lot of time left for him, I saw it as an amazing opportunity to help educate other keepers. We've seen a lot of changes in chameleon breeding. You know, we used to keep them all together in one enclosure. Now we're recommending individually raising baby chameleons. So that's been a big shift in the hobby. That's going to take a lot more space and resources. So I'm like, hey, if I can lead by example, that'd be really cool. So I got my female, got her when she was like a little peanut, like 3 months old. And so typically we wait for the females to be about a year old or about 60 to 70 grams before we would consider breeding them with the males. Panthers are very visual. All chameleons are, right? So the females will turn receptive colors. And so that's what I was looking for when I was going to introduce my female to my male. In the instance of what happened with her broken jaw, there's a very small receptive window for female panthers. It can be like 2 or 3 days.
It's real small.
Like not a lot of time for when she's receptive and then when she's out of that window. So I may have missed that window when I was trying to put them together. Hard to know. But she got a little defensive. She gaped and then she just whacked my male. And I think it's a freak accident, right? Like to be able to break her jaw, but she broke it in 2 spots, right on the side and then right at the front. So rushed her to the emergency vet. She had to have surgery. It was like over $1,000 for her to have her surgery. They put a little fixator, like literally a stick, and like sutured it.
The poor thing looked like little Frankenstein for a little bit because she had just like I don't know if it was like a toothpick or what. There's it was some kind of stick like right there sewn in. It was crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely
so
wild.
That took a few months. She's good now, which is why I finally posted a video because I wanted like, here's everything that happened. She's good. So that's where we're at currently. I haven't given up on breeding opportunities. I've got some things in the works right now, but not ready to share anything publicly quite yet.
I got a really panicked phone call when that happened. She was like, her jaw's broken. And I saw the picture and I immediately started calling vets for her.
And like, that's why it's like, oh man, like, cause ball pythons, God bless them, but you don't really go through any that, I mean, come on, Emilio. I mean, female broken jaws, we get crazy stuff, but like that's kind of a one-off thing, right?
And it is a one-off thing with chameleons, to be very clear. What we commonly see are nipped tails, where the males are the aggressors, and like especially wild-caught males. From when I'm talking to like my breeder mentors, I've known of males who have actually killed multiple females because they're so aggressive with the female. So those are typically what we see is nipped tails. When it comes to chameleons, broken jaws is like a 1 in a million type of thing.
I think your mentors, when you had reached out to them, they all were like, "Whoa."
Not surprised that there was an altercation, but very surprised it resulted in broken bones.
And when I was go ahead, Emilio.
I've heard of lots of egg binding. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. If you have good care, that shouldn't be an issue. So, and if you have a healthy female, right? Because chameleons will lay infertile clutches, but if they have proper UVB, if they have a laying bin, if they're healthy, they're strong, and you can control how many eggs they lay based off of their temperatures and food. So like 20 to 30 eggs is going to be way different than 60 to 80 eggs, right? As far as like the stress to have to lay all those eggs. So it's a lot. It's very care driven.
And nothing gets me like more motivated to breed something that takes more attention to detail and like, like you got a window with the chameleons, right? And, in a sense, it's like that with different species of reptiles, even with ball python, there's a window, but there's no like aggression. Either they're going to breed or they don't. But like, I don't know what it is about wanting my life to be a little bit more difficult, but I like working with things that like, if the care's not on point, if everything isn't what it needs to be, you're not going to have great results. And
it's a challenge.
But also like think about the reward if you overcome these challenges, right? Like a lot of these things, it just takes time to figure out. But the thing is, there's some stuff that isn't as forgiving, right? And so, and I signed myself up for a bunch of stuff that is very unforgiving if you do not have your
chameleons fall in that category. Absolutely.
And your Christopher Parsons too, which the Parsons chameleons are next level with like their incubation and how long that takes. I mean,
you asked about that. So would love to hear ball pythons, but for panthers, you're looking about like 6 to 9 months for incubation. For Christopher Parsons, you're looking for 1.5 years incubation time.
Crazy.
What was Brock's? Our good friend Brock just had a chameleon clutch, but he was 9 months or something. What was his?
I'm not sure, but I think 100 and I don't know. I could be wrong. 110 days.
7 months. No, wait. Oh no,
Dang.
hold on. He has a post that says we're still at 7 months and counting.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, I think hold on. Yeah, here we go. Here's the hatch date. 14 months.
Wow. Yep.
Right?
Wow.
14 months.
Isn't that
What
crazy?
are ball pythons? They're like 90 days or something, right?
No, not even 60 days at the most.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Yeah, 60.
That's so nice.
and that's crazy, because what I started dabbling with tree monitors, and I had a couple tree monitor clutches that weren't successful, but I had a couple full term babies that went like to a day 170. You know what I mean? And when you're waiting for something like that, 60 days is nothing. Like I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
And that made me happier because I used to almost stress over ball python clutches and like almost be looking all the time. But now it's like, oh, I only have 20 more days.
Yeah, ball pythons are a piece of cake.
They're fun. but it's like that's why I in a sense will always appreciate my ball pythons, because that's what even gave me the goal to have the nerve to even try to breed other stuff, because I saw oh, I'm having complete sheds. Oh, my ball pythons that's not supposed to be eating is eating. Like I'm seeing like whatever.
Yeah, signs of good health.
Yeah, because Emilio, right? There was even a time and place where people were like, "Oh, ball pythons don't eat. Ball pythons don't do this," and almost like telling you stuff to like talk you out of it. But really, like, I mean, it's not the same for everybody. And even with like certain species that we're talking about that are difficult, some people just have that kind of luck where they come in, they do things slow, and they wait, they take their time, and it's a breeze for them, But you said it, Neptune. If the husbandry is not on point, you will deal with egg bounds and like retain eggs and retain babies and like the nightmare of things. But also that's how you learn,
Yeah, totally.
But then you can also have great care, and then they still break their jaw. So
Dude, right?
happens to the best of us.
Yeah, you could do everything right. Nature is nature.
Still have
There's gonna
issues.
be situations that come up.
Yeah,
for sure.
And obviously, like, I don't know, I've never had so much fun learning. Like, I never was a fan of learning my whole life, because all I ever want to do is what I want to do, play sports and like go be a kid. But I never knew like the fun part of learning until we got into what we're doing now. You know what I mean?
You have to care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's all exactly, because if you don't care, then how do you ever see yourself even pursuing anything? Like, you know what I mean? That even kind of what gives you respect on your name in a game like this is by showing how long you've been doing it and how many things you overcame,
Yeah, totally. I mean, we talk about that stuff on social media all the time of like, we all make mistakes. Like I wouldn't be where I am, in the reptile world and with the species I do if I didn't make my mistakes and learn from them. You know?
But that knowledge being passed down is what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing Emilio wasn't brought up with in the beginning of ball pythons. A lot of people in the beginning of the reptile era didn't have social media,
right?
And the information used to be hoarded back then. And even if you knew what to do, a lot of people gave wrong information just to lead you down a different path. You know what I mean?
No, that's not good.
That's never good.
Brutal.
Honestly, back in the day, the way we learned was learning with people that were at the same level as you.
Yeah.
Through steps. Through forums and through posts, the guys that had all the experience weren't helping at all.
Wild. Right. I mean, I just love the information age nowadays. I mean, it's really beneficial because of social media. So much of the information's already out there. You just have to do the due diligence to do the research and figure it out. And obviously some things you have to figure out through trial and error and doing it yourself and trying and failing and all of that. But it is nice that there's so much more information readily available now.
Yeah,
a buddy of mine, we were talking about a certain breeder of another species, and they used to call those guys back in the day gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we still go through some of that today, but it's nowhere near where it was back then.
Yeah. I think it's just people are more willing to share now, because I don't think anybody really gains anything by keeping it super secret.
No, that's why
it's against. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Neptune, but it's against what you're doing by like not kicking down information, because that person who's asking is going to find out somehow, and then he's going to remember I remember this douche that didn't want to be nice and give me simple information. But then also too, if you are coming into this game, nobody owes you anything either.
True.
I do know because how quickly the reptile world has grown, and I've even got people like, hey, how do you breed your chondros? Or they ask me a question where I'm like, do you have much time? Like, how much time do you have?
Right.
Almost like, why should I give you like 3 hours of what I'm about to tell you right now? Like after, like, you want to see my freezer? Like, do you want to see what I've gone through? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but but also like it doesn't, I think approaches everything, but it's definitely not helping you if you are Mr. like F off, I don't want to give you advice, because like with the competitive world in the business reptile side of things, you got to be that person who's willing to help others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what makes Emilio so awesome, is because how much he's branched out and helped people within his own community, just even within Florida, you know, like, and I think that's what's going to give you more juice to continue on for the long run. You know,
you gotta treat people how you want to be treated. You do that, and they're gonna love you. They're gonna come back. They're always gonna hold you in high regard.
There's a reason why I have hundreds of free videos. You have hundreds of free videos, right? And this is just care information, and it's take what you need and good luck, you know.
girls, I have 536 podcasts. Okay, that's
exactly.
That is a lot of freaking content. Like,
that's a lot.
Hey, how is it? And we don't miss.
We don't miss. No, not at all. I don't know what was that saying from me. That was random.
You say that sometimes. Oh, he never misses, or that's.
Oh yeah, we don't miss for sure.
Yeah, we don't miss.
But okay, but kind of getting back into like you guys collabing, you guys are coming together. Whose idea was it to have a podcast? Who thought of that first?
It was pretty mutual, honestly. Like I don't know if one of us in particular.
I'm gonna challenge you on that. So before we had our podcast, I had on my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
we did an episode.
Yes, you're right.
So on my YouTube channel, I wanted to do a video on keeping reptiles in apartments and the challenges that come with that. And I was like, what if we did the video together, like a collab, because of how we met, right? And we both have kept reptiles in apartments. And that was very podcast.
It was very podcast-y
style, and that we sat side by side. We didn't have mics. We just had like my iPhone
just
and like, you know, but it was like a glimpse into like, oh,
we were kind of like,
could like,
this is fun. We kind of have a good vibe here. Like,
do
this
something like
cool. And then it was Animal Con last year.
That sealed the deal.
We went to Animal Con, and you know, we were sharing a hotel room together, and we were all just busy doing stuff, and it just kind of became like a very natural conversation. We were like, we should freaking do this. Like, we should actually do this.
Yeah.
And so then we just started brainstorming, started coming up with
names. We talked to Bill Strand, because I have a close relationship with Bill, both being in the chameleon world. And we pulled Bill aside because he was at Animal Con. We're like, Bill, because he does podcasts, right? And he's been podcasting for years, and neither of us have done podcasts. We're like, Bill, are we crazy? Like, what if we did like a girly reptile podcast? Like, what do we need? How do we do this? And he's like, this is a fantastic idea. You absolutely have to do this.
He was so supportive. Like, he gave us so many tips, so much info, gave us the whole rundown on like what we needed to do and how, and it was so helpful.
Animal Con was what, early October? We launched the first episode in early December.
Yeah.
December 1st, I think it was.
Took a couple months to get all prepped and going, and
here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely needed in the whole podcasting field, you know, like females speaking on reptiles, because it is a more of a male heavy type hobby. But really, if you really look at it and go to a lot of shows and talk to a lot of people, there's just as many females, I feel like, you know, but it's like, but not too many feel like they can come out and have a podcast, and they obviously can, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's also a lot easier said than done, right? Like, this is a lot of work. Like, what you guys have going on,
it's like a second job.
For real.
It's a lot, but it's fun. I mean, we love it, and we, you know, we've worked out like a good way of kind of like balancing our work schedules with both of each other,
and responsibilities of like, she does this, I do this. You know, when we record, because we're a little different than you guys, because we have pre-recorded episodes, right? So then like I have to like edit them. She does all like the social clips. Like, we're very heavy on like Instagram, TikTok, right? We do all content from all of our episodes. So there's a lot that goes into it, but we always get excited when it's filming day.
Filming day's the best.
When do you guys usually air your
every Tuesday? So 7 a.m. on Tuesdays.
I was gonna say Emilio's first experience on Trap Talk was like rockstar status. Like, here's the link, bro, just show up and kill it. And then eventually, once I started getting him comfortable and like I had stuff come up, I'm like, Emilio, you're gonna be doing this show solo tonight. I remember the first time I told me, he was like,
throw him right into the fire. Good luck.
Like, no.
I'm still I can tell you this. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm alone on the camera, I don't like it. I'm still not used to that.
I honestly think we both were so used to that because we've both been like
exactly.
posting
We've done this
like
for years.
she's been doing it on YouTube. I'm more bigger over on TikTok. And so we've both been like filming our content alone in our rooms
So
for
it was,
so
it was
long.
weird to film with someone else in the
Yeah.
room because
It was
we're
like-
so used to doing it by ourselves.
Yeah.
So
It-
I was like, oh, hey.
It was interesting. We were like, oh, we're doing this with another human. Wow, okay.
But you know, I did some TikTok lives. I feel like, I don't know. It was easier for me there. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's because the Wild West, anything goes. There's less
True.
pressure in TikTok.
Yeah. YouTube is way more like professional versus
Yeah.
TikTok. It's just kind of like free reign.
Yeah. Every once in a while on TikTok, you get one of those people saying something stupid. You just tell them to, F off.
Bye.
Right?
For sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
TikTok's an interesting landscape for sure.
And like you guys would definitely agree, like if you are going to be doing something like this, as far as getting a brand out there, especially on a podcasting platform, like, TikTok, any social media platform you could use is important, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
1000%.
Huge. And that was something we actually had talked about in our hotel room at Animal Con. We were like, all right, if we're going to do this,
Yeah,
we're
you
going
got
to really do this. We're going to do video. It's not going to be audio only. It's not going to be lives. It's going to be predetermined. We're going to be doing all the stuff. We're going to do all the social channels, all the social clips every week. We're going to go really hard at it. And we're glad we did, It definitely
Yeah, we came
worked
up
out.
with a whole social media strategy
Mhm.
before we even launched. We came up with like a launch plan for
Yeah.
how we're going to do it. We were really excited for you to see our booth at NRBC Dallas because
We're
we've
so
been
excited.
spending like probably the last 3 months crafting and like working on our booth, and it's going to be like nothing you've ever seen at a reptile expo before. But like this is what we do, right?
Yeah,
like
we
if we're
love
going to
this
do
stuff.
it, we're going to go all
Yeah.
in, and
We don't really half-ass anything.
Yeah. It's a blessing
So,
and a curse.
yeah, it is.
I mean, but why would you? That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, okay, one of the biggest things you could take advantage of in the reptile podcasting world is not half-assing it, because a
Yeah.
lot of people don't even give two shits and just go live and they're just showing off snakes and that's fine. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but like, don't expect to stand out. Like, don't expect to
Right.
be somebody different trying to make history when you're doing all the freaking same shit that everyone else is doing. Like, and you're not even upgrading like your appearance. Like, it's like,
Right.
because how is somebody gonna take you serious if you don't even invest in your own stuff? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, not only that, for me, you're not doing the animal any justice. I hate that.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, you're moving
Hobby.
around, the box is open, and you're not even getting a really good view of the animal.
Oh yeah, I mean, lighting is everything in terms of that,
Yeah.
and just being able to really show off the beauty of the animal. Because
Yeah.
what's the point if you're not doing them any justice?
Yeah.
Now, listen, we didn't really talk about some of the species of reptiles that are like really
Yeah.
top tier in your world, but also in your own collection, like what you keep and all that stuff. Can we get to that?
Yeah, totally. So I'm much more of a pet keeper. I have never bred. I don't really have any breeding plans. I am a little particular with I kind of just like to have one of each species that I keep. So it's kind of just a whole menagerie, So, but I believe I have, let's see, I've got 10 total species right now. One amphibian, she's a tiger salamander.
Nice.
Then 3 different snakes. In the snake world, my cool kid card is Tarzan, my yellow anaconda, who is
Nice.
super docile. I tamed him down myself. He is incredible. I'm obsessed with him. And so, because that was really important to me to make sure that he was handleable and, able to be tame and everything. And so that worked out really well. But I also have a Hog Island boa, scaleless corn snake, then about, I believe, 6 different lizard species, ranging from geckos, blue tongue skinks, a legless lizard, all the different things.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, legless lizards. I don't know.
She doesn't like them either.
You and me both.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm very very upfront about how I feel about certain reptiles. And I get it. It's not like I want them to disappear, but I'm okay. Like, like I'm not a big hognose guy either. Like I respect them, but dude, that's a weird looking snake. Okay. And when they eat themselves, you know what I mean? Like, the legless lizard, that's just a confusing reptile.
They're so bizarre. And let me be so for real. I love him because he's my pet, but he's insane. And his whole brand is crazy. Like on my channel, like anytime I post about him, everybody loves how psychotic he is because his literal name is Voldemort because he looks like Voldemort. And he's just, he is just, I joke all the time that he absolutely hates me because that's the energy he brings.
He's like plotting your doom every time you walk into the room.
I just want to like, just his whole branding is that he's plotting my demise. So
no doubt.
He's a weird one.
So I love the dynamic, you know, because I mean, say what you want, but this whole industry is built off the pet keeping side and the breeding side.
Yeah.
I will say right now, the breeding side's not too much of a popular thing of what's bringing people in because of market talk and people selling collections. But right now, the biggest thing is the pet keeping side. A lot of people, from what I'm seeing, like are getting into like tree monitors and like even chondros or even certain species of geckos just because they want it displayed in front of their living room and they just want to enjoy it. And I feel like that's why we're all here to begin with, right? At one point, these were just all pets.
Right.
And I think that's where we kind of need to concentrate on, you know, like, you know, unless you're Emilio and this is a full-time job and you are bending the streets, you are hitting all these shows, then you have a purpose breeding. And he has a whole formula for that, right? But there's not a lot of people who are built for that kind of like
I am not. I am not
no,
built for that.
No. Dude.
I'm like, I don't even want to, like, especially after what she went through with the broken jaw. I'm like, count me out. No, thank you. I'm never doing that.
And to be so for real, like, I would like to have my one clutch, right? Like, have a Neptune baby. And I'm like, I'm good. I went through the process. Like, I can document, I can help educate. I get to keep a little Neptune baby. I found wonderful homes for the rest of them, and I'm good. Like, I don't have any plans to scale this into a.
It's breeding is an incredible thing for the right people, and obviously, like as pet keepers, we love and need breeders. We need you guys. Like, it's so important, but it's not for me. I know that. I'm not even gonna try. So,
and I was told, you know, like I said, this was never told to me when I was first trying to become a ball python breeder. But when I started working with chondros and other stuff, somebody told me, like, what you're trying to breed is not made for the faint at heart. Like, if you are if you're emotionally like connected with these animals and you want 25, 30-year lifespan, but you want to breed them, you better throw that out the window because breeding changes. Breeding, it's unfortunate, but breeding changes everything, like lifespan, everything, like broken jaws. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get when it comes to breeding. But other than that, like, you know, like people even, you know, people have heard me say so many crazy stories about what I've been through with chondros that they think keeping the thing is hard. I'm like, no, dude, if you just want to keep these things, keeping chondros is easier than keeping ball pythons. I will say that 110%. It's that much less maintenance. I promise you. But when it comes to pairing them up and you want babies and all that, that's when everything changes. But like I said, you don't need to necessarily breed the thing because you have a reptile. Like, and if you are meant for it, then go ahead and try it someday. But
let me get in here real quick. Like, Neptune has a short lifespan, so you want to continue your lineage with Neptune, right? You want to have his baby, and then maybe have that one's baby, and I mean, breeding is not only for monetary gain or, you know, or making better animals or combos or paint jobs. It's also about, you know, keeping your passion for that said, you know, for that animal.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, I think that breeders play, we've talked about this in some episodes, but I personally think that breeders play a really important role in conserving certain species, especially some of the more exotic species that you don't see as often. You know, obviously zoos and things like that are doing conservation projects, but breeders play a role in that too. You know, it's not just zoos who are out here producing, you know, more animals so that we can keep them in captivity. It's breeders play a big role in that as well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I came in prime, quote unquote, pyramid scheme ball python era, right? Like I was being shown all this crazy stuff that you can make and make all this money. Like, that's but mind you, I loved ball pythons way before any of this. But what got my motors even running about breeding was because of the money. Right. But then once I woke up very quickly once I realized like how many people were actually working with ball pythons and how many people were financially invested. And I knew like, okay, if I'm trying to be like this known ball python breeder, you better have a lot more money. And I know I didn't. And I was like, for me, if I'm doing something, I want to leave a stamp. Like I want to do something where I'm like, people are going to remember me. And that's really, really hard to do in the ball python world.
Not
like,
easy.
It's very saturated.
Unless you're 20 years seasoned, or you've been doing this for a long time, or if you come in like Miguel Garcia did and you drop all this money with marketing and being a good person and everything else, it's just like, it's not easy. Right. But then there are how many other reptile species that aren't even really being worked with? Right? Like there are so many other cooler things out there than ball pythons, which we could all agree on. Even Emilio will tell you. Ask about his other species that he works with. The guy's geeked out now. You know what I mean?
I'm like a little kid right now. I'm obsessed with dry marcon. Like,
ooh, cool.
Obsessed.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey guys, I'm like 12 again.
Yeah.
Love that for you.
It's fun. I mean, that's, it's like we were saying earlier, like when you're really passionate and really excited about a species, that's like one of the coolest parts, because that's when you really like just dive in and start learning and playing and figuring out what works. And that's the funnest part.
I just
but I have to say this, sorry. When I hit my DG Exantic clown, I'm also going to be 12 again.
That's fair. They might
not even know what that is. Do you guys know what that is?
I do.
I know Exanthic clown. I don't know. Did you say DJ?
I don't know what DJ. Hey, I like that. That's funny. That's awesome.
Dude, this is what makes you girls rock even more. Like, you guys are a ball python.
That was great.
This is great. This is awesome.
Okay, but don't make me feel stupid. What is it? I don't
know. That's not stupid. It was funny. Desert Ghost.
DG.
DG. Desert Ghost. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's one of the reason with our podcast, she is like so chameleon specific, which is awesome. And then I'm a little bit more of like
jack of all trades.
I'm jack of all trades. So we got a good mix. We've got like a specialist, and then
we'll talk about like feeding snakes. And this was a joke. I made a joke, and we were talking about feeding like live versus frozen. If you're feeling frozen, like here's how to warm up. And I made it. Again, this was a joke, but I was like, oh, do you just like pop them in the microwave? Like to like heat up your
I was like, never do that. Never.
You want to talk about a smelly apartment? Holy shit.
That is going to invite all kinds of stuff.
What are they cooking?
Yeah, it is funny. I actually came over for this because the studio is actually in her house. But like we were like eating a quick bite, and then like on the counter are some rats that are thawing out. And as a chameleon keeper, a lizard keeper, I'm like bugs, right? Like that's all I deal with are bugs. I don't deal with any frozen thawed anything. And I'm like, I know this is a thing. I'm in the reptile hobby, but like I personally don't deal with thawing out rats. And here I am like eating dinner with her, and there's just rats on the counter.
Yeah,
like,
my husband was helping cook dinner, and I looked at him and I was like, I got to get the rats out. And he was like, can you just not put them in the line of food, please? I was like, yeah, for sure. For sure. I'll put them over here. Don't worry.
Yeah, my wife's so down for all this until she sees the rats being thawed out.
Yeah,
and she just like she like, because she saw when I used to breed them, and back when I would travel a lot, when I had rats, like I would tell her, like, can you check on the rats and do the waters, and she would just fall in love with them because how cute they were. And like, rats get a bad name because what they are in the streets, but dude, that's a smart animal. You know what I mean?
They're
like
so smart, and they actually, and I say this as a snake keeper, they're actually incredible pets because they're so intelligent. Cool. My little brother had a pet rat when I was growing up, and so I loved it. Even my mom, who was like grossed out by the tail, loved this rat. I mean, it was the family pet for a little while.
Like the movie Ratatouille. I'm a big fan of the
you know what's crazy? Like in the beginning, and this is why I don't, you see somebody new and they're trying to figure out how can I get a big social media following. So they think live feed videos is going to help. And mind you, like, okay, like I at first used to be like, who the hell are you? But I remember I did that in the very first year or so. Like I thought live feeding videos were cool. But really like it just kind of just shows that, all right, you just don't really know. Like, okay, I think a lot of people seen live feeding videos, and that's not really like the direction to go to like build to build the brand, but I also was running into like legit rat lovers, like people with rat patients. And like, mind you, I'd be like, oh man, that sucks, but I'm still going to feed my animal. But then recently I discovered, you know, green tree pythons, when they're babies, they sometimes don't want to eat any pinky mice. And that's kind of like the first meal you offer. And I didn't discover, I take that back. I had somebody who came on the show who told me that how he deals with any stubborn baby green tree python is he feeds them United States captain born and bred crested gecko. Like he breeds that many crested geckos.
You posted that on your story today.
Right. Because that's more of a natural prey item for them. Like that's what they're doing in the wild, right? But you know, people got upset because I was feeding a gecko to a snake.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm like, dude, like don't even go there. You're gonna be rat people upset. Like, so like because of the rat lovers, I was not like, I didn't, you know, listen, okay, I'm sorry you're offended about my gecko that I bred, but I don't care. Like, look what we're doing to rats. Like, and I feel like rats is more messed up than feeding a gecko to a lizard, a snake, you know?
Well, and it's also, you know, it's part of the animal kingdom. I mean, that's just what happens. Well, it's like, you know, hognose snakes, they are in the wild, their natural prey item is usually amphibians. And that's why a lot of like baby hognoses won't take food right off the bat. And so it all has to do with like what their natural prey item is. And if that snake, you know, their natural prey item when they're babies is more lizards, that's like very common. So if that's what it takes to get them started, that's what it takes to get them started, you know?
Yeah. And if you want to talk about like the dirty side of breeding, like assist feeding or shoving something down something still, like do that right there. I get it. Like, hey guys, this is what we do, but do we have to do that? Like, aren't there other options? Like, how about we try giving it something it's more used to eating when it's born in the wild? Like, why do we have to just get a freaking pinky and shove it down every reptile's throat? That just doesn't add up to me.
Yeah. And I mean, I love, you know, I preach on social media all the time, like the importance of like a varied diet, you know, for your reptiles. And obviously depending on, you know, the species and stuff, it all varies. And, you know, you can't always feed the variety that you can give them, but something I'm really, really excited about with my yellow anaconda, once I get him in his bigger enclosure, I'm going to put like a water feature with a pond and things like that. And I plan on occasionally feeding him live fish in that pond, because that's a huge part of their natural diet. And I'm really excited about that, because it's just unique and different. And so I'm excited to see how that goes and see if he takes it and see, you know, how natural is it for him. I'm really excited to see that. But also just that variety in their diet is so good for them. And so, you know, I always try to rotate between, you know, chicks and rats and different things when you can.
That's enrichment at the end of the day.
Right.
Super enrichment. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And I can't wait to see him hunt in that pond. It's going to be so cool.
Do fish not have feelings?
Oh, I don't know.
I heard that in a Nirvana song once, and I was like,
I can tell you guys this. We're all instinctually, I have no feelings for when I kill a fish. When I'm hunting, I've never never gone hunting for boar or deer or anything like that. I think I feel bad. I think I feel bad for a mammal, but for some reason, instinctually in me, I do not feel bad for any fish I shoot.
Well, I
feel bad.
I know, I do too.
Like softies.
Well, it can't be a dolphin for sure. I'll be upset if it's a dolphin.
Yeah, that's a problem.
A mahi.
All day. I'll beat the shit out of that thing. Yeah. Well, I love me a mahi. That's good eating right there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think also like as humans, you know, fish are a natural part of a lot of humans' diets as well. So that makes sense, you know, that you feel that type of way about it.
I'm a big fan of Finding Nemo, so I can't. No, I'm just.
So you don't eat sushi?
Oh, I do. Yeah, but like I didn't kill it though, right? So like you're.
Whoa, hold up. Because here's the conversation I have with my customers at the table. When they ask me, oh, what do I have to feed it? Oh my God, I have to feed it a mouse?
Yeah.
Wait a second. All right. The minute you buy a chicken breast at the store, they kill another one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. For
sure.
sure.
So my question to you, Neptune, is this. Okay. If you had to harvest your own food, what would it be first? What would you be okay to do?
No, all of it. I would be fine for all of it, right? Like if it came down to me, I would do whatever I had to do.
But you'd be a little sad.
No, because it's,
Well,
it's a survival.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like sushi restaurants that have live fish behind them?
Crazy.
They pull them out, they slice them up. That right there, I don't like.
That's
I'm
too
good on
much
that.
for me. I don't know.
The
I don't want to
lobsters,
see
the
it.
little lobsters in the
Yeah,
tank.
the lobsters. Even though
Yeah.
like that's like the what do they say, the ocean's cockroach or whatever. But
Yeah.
like, but still, like to see them in that tank, just like, all right, now it's your turn. Or,
But I'm not-
if I'm
I'm
gonna
not-
be if I'm gonna be eating it, I don't want to see it alive beforehand.
good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't,
yeah.
like I need to be able to disassociate that in my head.
but then we're okay with feeding
I
a
know.
snake a live meal.
No,
Yeah.
I'm okay with all of it. You just asked if I personally would feel bad killing a fish.
I feel a little sad.
Hold on. Or a cricket,
Yep.
or a grasshopper.
I don't feel bad about the crickets.
I
or-
feel-
yeah.
It's a living
I feel a little
thing.
bad.
It's a living. It has feelings.
That's
Yeah,
it?
I'm like, you are the chosen one. As I'm like picking.
You've been selected to sacrifice.
Yeah, you
it's
know,
a-
I said this about the rodents, right? Like when I was breeding rats, like I was finding my favorite rats. Like I was finding like holdback rats, even though they were males and I didn't.
Oh.
I would find ones with like unique ears and I'm like, oh my god, you're cute. I'm gonna hold
We
on.
all do that. We
Yeah.
all do that.
But it also when it becomes a full grown male and it's beating up other males and it's like, oh man, this is not good. You got to go. You know what I
You
mean?
gotta go.
But I'm because I started breeding. Well, not started is my second year, but I've been breeding my own grasshoppers. And like
Oh,
now I got
cool.
certain grasshoppers that look cool. I don't want to feed them all.
Oh,
And now I have a grasshopper problem.
you want to hear a funny story? This was like new keeper problems, but dubia roaches, they'll like shed, or what is the bug word?
I don't know. Do they
They molt.
Molt.
molt?
Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah, and so I thought I was so cool. This is when I was first getting into reptile keeping because I found what I thought was an albino dubia roach, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so cool! I found an albino." No, it's just a molted roach, and it was like turned brown the next day.
He wasn't
So you
special.
guys
He
did-
was just molted.
I
No.
can never, ever deal with roaches.
It's because you live in Florida. You've
I'll
been
get
traumatized.
I'll get kicked out of my house if I ever
Yeah.
try to breed roaches.
Oh yeah,
Well,
dude.
So
yeah.
my husband will literally anytime he finds just an odd bug here and there around the house, he literally will come and ask me if it's one of mine.
Yeah.
Because occasionally my dubia roaches, like maybe one or so will like get out or something, or it's rare, but you know, occasionally it'll happen. But he'll be like, is this one of yours? Like, what do I do? What's the protocol?
Dude, my wife almost lost her shit because I fed a bunch of tree monitors, and I remember the next morning coming in and I saw a dubia roach on the floor, and like I don't know what I was doing, but I decided not to kill it. I was like, I'm gonna put it in my pocket, right? And then
What?
that whole day goes by, and you know, obviously
That's wild.
my hamper's upstairs. I take a shower, and my wife screams. She's like, "There's a fucking roach in our room." I'm like, "Why is there a roach?" I was like, "We don't eat in our room." Like we're like, and I
Yeah.
look, and it's a big ass dubia roach that I had in my pocket.
That dubia roach had the best day of its entire
Oh, yeah.
life.
He went on a whole adventure.
Just chilling in your pocket.
Bro, you had a dubia roach in your pocket?
all day. And
That's
and,
so
and, like
funny.
when I threw my shorts in the hamper, it like made its way out, and like, and my
It's like
wife saw it.
freedom. Yeah.
He's like, "Oh my god, the humidity's perfect up here."
Yeah, I love it in here. This is great.
Oh my gosh, that's
No,
funny.
then I had to convince my wife we don't have a
Roach problem.
roach
Yeah.
I swear to God, we don't.
Mhm.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, there we go. Went through all that, but
Oh,
yeah, I listen. You know, shout out to the significant others out there who deal with us. It's not easy.
Our very first episode,
Yeah.
episode 1 of the Wild Type podcast, was dating with reptiles.
Yes.
Because like that's just a thing people don't
Oh, yeah.
realize you get into,
Yeah,
especially being ladies, right?
Mhm.
And you go on a date and they're like, "Oh, do you have any pets?" And it's like a loaded question,
You're like,
right?
I do.
yeah. See, look, my position was great because I met her and I only had like maybe 4 snakes, which wasn't anything crazy. But she was like, you know, I like you more into this than like the music DJ scene that you're doing. So just keep buying reptiles. But boy, did she not understand.
She
what this
didn't
was
realize.
about. And now we're at 230 something. I think. Who knows? I
Dang.
haven't counted since I don't know. earlier
Wild.
this year, but it goes that quick. You know.
Yeah.
It's crazy how time flies in this hobby. Like as
Oh
much as-
yeah.
like 2018 doesn't seem that long ago, but holy
No.
crap, that's like how many years?
6 years ago. I think our brains are warped from COVID. I feel like COVID gave us like this weird pause
Yeah,
that
it
it
pushed us.
feels like 2019 was yesterday, but
Yeah.
it was actually nearly, 5-6 years ago. So like it's such a weird time warp because we were all stuck for a while.
I feel like it should be 2020 right now. Like I feel like
agreed. Yeah.
But we're in 2024, which is nuts.
Yeah. Why almost 2025. We're getting close.
And we only got 3 months. We only got 3 months left.
4 months. We got September, October. Dude, wow, that's nuts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, let's talk about some of the stuff that you are like. What are your guys' goals in a sense with this podcast? You know, obviously, like I'm saying, time flies, right? But you guys are both bringing stuff together that you're both passionate about. But what's the overall goal in the next 5 years? You would say, what would you guys want to see this podcast at in 5 years?
To have the title of the coolest reptile podcast, of course. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's your that's your thing. That was a joke.
Technically, I'm a network, so the podcast is open now. I mean, that's open game right there.
No.
Hey, I need to come back with something on that.
Okay.
Hey, you're gonna need more than a comedian, okay?
Okay.
I'm just messing. I'm messing.
No, you're totally. No, I shot the first shot. No, it's totally fair to shoot back. No, you're good. Totally good. No, our intention with this was to build a community, right? Because we're not naive to know that like not everyone has a reptile bestie, especially a girl in the reptile hobby, right? Like we have like a lot of female keepers, we have a lot of female social media creators, we have a lot of female breeders, like they're out there, but you guys said it, right? Like this is still a lot of dudes in the hobby. So we wanted to be able to create this space and make sure other female keepers and guys, right, always welcome, but be able to have like a community that you feel part of, that when you listen to our podcast, you feel like you're sitting at the table and chatting with us about just like life as female keepers. And so we've gone to a couple of shows. Pomona actually was probably the coolest experience where we've had people come up to us and they're like, I look forward every Tuesday, or like all my girlfriends like don't keep reptiles. So like, it's really great to like feel like I'm chatting with you guys, or I went bioactive because of that episode that you guys did. Like that's our intention. That's our goal, is to like build this community where, you know, other reptile girlies can feel included.
Yeah. I think just, you know, like you guys said, just because I think probably in the last, I would say like 5 years, there have been so many more women joining the reptile hobby. And it's just become, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I've been keeping reptiles since I was like 16. And when I started, I mean, I didn't know. I was the only girl that I knew that even gave a single shit about reptiles, like at all. Yeah. And so like the fact that, you know, more and more women started joining the hobby was something that I was so excited about when I started posting on social media. So when we were doing, you know, prepping for starting the podcast, that was really our biggest goal, was like, we wanted to create a space for women in the hobby to feel like they were, you know, having chats and all of that stuff and talking about reptiles, but also life stuff and, you know, just, and dealing with, you know, life stuff while you're having reptiles and how those two things pair together. So I think for just our goals, we really just want to see that community grow and just give, you know, women a space in the hobby to feel like they're included.
What she said.
Because I mean, what are any of us without community, right?
Right.
Like, I think that's kind of what even gives us the stance that we have in this game, is what community you're building or what you're a part of. Emilio's definitely done his part with that. I've done my part, and that's what your guys is all about. And I feel like, how do you have any kind of longevity plans if you don't concentrate on the community, or at least like mentorship and surrounding, like being influenced by people who've been doing this for a very long time?
Right.
What makes me proud about having Emilio be a co-host is like, he has 20 plus years in the ball python field. And that's primarily what we bring to this Monday night segment, is like, and mind you, this is cool to not finally talk about ball pythons so much, you know, a little break, you know, because there is a lot more out there than ball pythons. But really, like, that's my backup to this segment, is having someone like Emilio talk, because it's unfortunate, ladies, but you could easily paint a picture on social media, making it seem like you're Mr. Advice Giver because you have all this experience. But guess what? You really don't have the experience, and you're really just kind of just talking out of something that isn't coming from a genuine place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're faking it till they make it, or don't.
Or don't.
Or don't. Yeah.
but faking information or faking that only hurts the animals or hurt what we're trying to do longevity wise. Like, another reason why I loved you girls as far as what you're doing is like, and this is no offense to any TikTok female reptile keepers, but like, you know, showing half your body with all this makeup, and like, mind you, this is just something I'm not into. Like, you know what I mean? Like bringing the whole sexual side with reptiles is just not my thing. And I get it. Like, there's beautiful women out there, and, you know, if you got it, go ahead. But that's just not like like if that's your MO, like I'm never bringing you to this platform, only because, like I said, like I'm in the reptiles for a different reason. I feel like when someone's doing that, they're primarily wanting an attention on themselves.
There's a place for that.
You know? There's I guess. Yeah, I know.
It's not here. So guess what? Unfollow.
No, I get it.
But it's like, you know, I mean, we all had parents that try to guard what we watch on TV, and like you can't stop it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, for what what I like seeing is stuff that is educationally making the hobby a better place, you know, but mainly because like what you girls are doing, like parents wouldn't mind their kids listening to. And this is funny. I should probably take a tool out of the toolbox, what I'm saying, because I like to cuss a lot. I like to do my thing, but you know, but at the end of the day, it's about the youth. You know what I mean? Like what we're passing information down is that next generation that's going to continue what we're doing. You know what I mean?
We actually got a DM a couple months back. Is this mom? She DM'd us and she's like, "Hey, I love your podcast. Just want to let you know I listen with my 2 teenage girls. They're like 13 and 16."
That's good.
And she's like, "Absolutely love what you guys are doing and like all the topics it brings up." She's like, "I just want to double check, like, is your podcast suited for like teenagers, right? Like, is this like PG-13 or are you going to plan on talking about like rated R topics?" Which is like, kudos to that mom for like doing her homework and asking. I was like, we have zero intention of ever talking about anything that we wouldn't feel comfortable talking about with like our younger, you know, cousins or whatever.
My grandma and my great aunt follow me on everything. So if I'm not okay with them seeing it, I'm not posting it.
And we want to be able to, like, if we can be role models for like the next generation of keepers, like that's the dream. That's the made it moment.
And I think that's it. Part of it was part of our initial goal as well, was just the fact that, like, you know, I mean, I'm 31 now, which I don't think I'm old at all, but there are so many, like a lot of the women that are coming into the hobby are, you know, in between the ages of like 20, 25. Some of them are even, I have so many teenagers that follow me and things like that. And so it's, you know, we want to be able to be those role models for those people and help educate and help really just keep the focus on the animals. You know, that's the biggest thing for us, I think.
Yeah. I'm kind of a hypocrite. I'm not gonna lie. Like, only because okay, and this is something I've already like made a decision on, but like, you know, there's some people like myself who are like not a fan of like, you know, showing half the body with reptiles, and because you're either a female or a dude or whatever. But like also like there's people out there who just cannot stand weed. Like there's people who hate weed no matter what. And one thing I don't really care about, like if you don't like it or not, is like I cuss on this show and I typically smoke on this show. But really, like I have a 2-foot bong that I normally whip out, and but I'm like that's kind of like maybe hurting me in a sense too, because like, listen, I get it, weed's legal, I'm in California, but like I have a boy now, right? And I'm only thinking if my son is 15, 16 years old, we're on the couch and I'm watching something that I want to watch, and then the host whips out a bong, right? And then my son's like, "Hey, my friend had that. Maybe it is okay for me to smoke." You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm kind of thinking bigger wise, right? And so
yeah, it makes sense.
And I've already, like I said, I've talking to people I look up to in this industry who've had this talk to me, like tell me, "MJ, like you don't understand. I've had family in my living room ready to watch your show, and then all of a sudden you whip this bong out," and we're like, "What is this?" Like, you know what I mean? But like we understand that's you, but understand that like in a family setting, that's not always like I said, the same way, like, okay, why are you showing your tits, lady, if there's a ball python on your neck? But also it's like, it's almost the same thing, right? So yeah, I'm definitely ready to grow out of that. Like I know I don't need to rip bong loads on this show. I can easily just go do it on the side. That's fine. Like, you know what I mean?
You could go on TikTok live. that's way more free reign, you know?
I tell everyone out there, you better use every social media platform, but I refuse TikTok. I just because clicking on the app and seeing what I have to see to get to my account to upload, I don't want to see. I hate TikTok that much. And I know hate's a powerful word, but I cannot stand TikTok, Neptune.
No, this is not for me. So I got my kudos for my YouTube following, but it's only fair if Lissa gets her kudos. So how many followers do you have on TikTok?
I think I'm at like 305,000 or something like that.
Wow.
I think.
Damn.
300,000 followers on TikTok.
Thank you. I appreciate you. But that is more. So I'm much more just bigger over on TikTok. That's where I post the majority of my content. And I love it over there. I'm sorry you hated MJ, but I love it over there.
maybe we could like
you're in good hands.
Maybe you could coach me then, Lissa. Like just like I don't know. Like I feel like I do a lot of work with not a lot of like results on TikTok.
I get it.
I pull really cool like chondros out, and I get like 20 people that look at it, and I'm like, the disrespect. You know what I mean?
But let me say this. I stopped using it, and now I'm posting here and there again. What I do like about TikTok is that you get random people. Yeah. You know, organically.
The reach is very big on TikTok.
Reach is completely random. Yeah. And you might get to teach people about the industry that you probably wouldn't have reached.
Yeah, I agree. Wow. I would say the one, not necessarily downside with TikTok, but like you really have to be really consistent with posting like nearly every day in order to eventually get that reach. It definitely starts out real slow. So that is one of the kind of just bummers about it is I think back in like 2020, 2021, it was so much easier to just like post something and go viral super fast. But now that everyone and their mom are on TikTok, it makes it a little more competitive and a little hard, which is a bummer. So, and I even struggle with my consistency on TikTok over there as well.
Not easy.
It is not for the faint of heart posting daily.
That's why one of the best we've ever had in the game that's no longer with us was Brian Barczyk. Like that man attacked everything. And I seen him in person. But like to like gun ho and like not miss anything on all platforms, it's like freaking goddamn superhero shit. Like it's
crazy. It's a lot of work.
You need a team. There's no way you're gonna do it by yourself. Yeah.
No, it's a lot of work. I mean, even just the two of us for the podcast, and then that's not even our own social platform separate from the podcast
and our day jobs and the rest of our lives. Like there's a lot that it's a lot, and it's not for the faint of heart. And it can be so easy to be like, oh, must be nice to have. But she was grinding, multiple posts a day, consistently, day after day after day after day. Like, and then you obviously it comes to fruition. But
it worked out. But it was a grind. Lot. It's a grind for sure. It's tough.
Let me ask you this, and Alyssa, let's like little coaching question for you. Okay, like if obviously you have cool animals, which Instagram you could do well. If you're just showing an animal on Instagram. It could do well, right? But if TikTok that's not really working, what do you suggest? Like, you suggest your face being in there with the animal, or what helps you on TikTok?
So definitely having your face in there, I think is just huge, just because the human interaction in general is always really enticing. And then something that I try to be real, and I don't always do this, but I try to make every single one of my videos has a hook in the beginning, which basically within the first 5 seconds, like I want to be telling the viewers why they need to continue watching the video, because everybody's attention span on TikTok, the swiping is crazy. So if you don't tell them in the first few seconds why they should give a shit about whatever you're posting about, they're not going to stick around.
That makes sense.
So like I always try, in my hooks that I'll use in the beginning, I always try to use the word you in the first sentence. Like, you need to know this about your crested gecko. You need to understand this about, did you know this about leopard geckos? Did you know this about, your snake, this and that? Because they hear that and they immediately are like, oh, do I need to know that? Why do I need to know? And then that keeps them intrigued and it keeps them watching. So I think with TikTok in general, and I mean, all social media platforms, you have to be strategic. But I think with TikTok, because people are so programmed to scroll so quickly, it really helps to just in the first 5 seconds really hit them with like, this is why you should care about what I'm saying.
Sorry, guys. I must have lost internet service or something. I missed some of what you guys said, but let me tell you what made people jump into mine.
Yeah.
When it was a baby snake, it never worked. It had to be the biggest ball python in my collection.
The wow factor.
Yeah. I will say my yellow anaconda gets a lot of attention.
Yes.
He is definitely the favorite.
Big snake, they're like, whoa, and they stop.
Yeah. And mine's not even that big yet. He's still only like, 4 feet or so. So he's still growing, but
yeah.
All right. I'll try TikTok again. Whatever.
For them, that's big.
Yeah, I hope he gets to about 7 or 8 feet, but we'll see. I think it'll take him a long time.
And for TikTok people, that's a big ass snake.
Oh yeah, so true, so true.
Now, okay, if we were to think about what, like, your guys' guests, right? As far as like what you guys like to aim for when it comes to bringing someone on your show, what is that? Like, obviously, it's a lot more than just bringing females on your show because you've had plenty of male guests. But like, what do you guys look for when it comes to bringing on guests on your show?
We actually don't have any guests on our show.
Yet.
We've never had a guest.
Oh, I thought you had Bill Strand on. I could have sworn I saw that or something.
No,
so just you two.
We've probably posted. Yeah, I think she's.
I did an interview with Bill at Animal Con because we're both chameleon people. But as far as this podcast goes, we've never had any guests. And very exciting announcement: we are going to have our very first guest this weekend. We're going to do 2 live episodes on Saturday. We're going to have 3 guests, and then on Sunday we're going to have 2 guests. They are all female keepers or breeders or vets. We have a variety of people who are going to be at the NRBC Dallas show that we reached out to, but it's going to be our very first time.
Yeah, our very first guest.
Guests.
We're really excited.
Have you guys already tested the internet in the building at the Dallas show? Like, to
make sure we're a little nervous about that. We'll definitely see how that goes.
I think I know Pomona. I have to pay for it. It's like $80. And I get connected to the Wi-Fi. But if you have strong phone signal, you can just hotspot it. And I've done actually good episodes from my hotspotting my phone for internet.
Okay, that's really good to know because that's definitely going to be a big part of figuring out our setup on Friday when we get there to set up the booth and everything, because we are definitely newbies on that front trying to figure that out. So I appreciate that.
Listen, you help me with TikTok and I got you.
I got you.
Sounds good.
We could collab on this.
Heck yeah.
All right, listen, wrap up topic time. I'm going to go up first and then Amelia will finish with this wrap up topic. But what do you guys have to say to out there to, I know it's a lot more than just male or female. And I know it's either or, but anyone out there who has reptiles that want to expand or add more, but just really isn't too sure. I asked you because I feel like you girls really do your research, okay, especially on the pet keeping side of things. But what's your advice for anyone out there who is wanting to add more to their collection, but just not sure if they're ready yet?
If you're asking if you're ready or ready, then you're probably not. That's always been my thing. When people are like, oh, I've done tons of research on chameleons, but I'm not sure if I'm ready. Obviously, you're never going to be 100% sure, but you do need to have a certain level of confidence that you know what you're talking about, right? You're confident that you know the supplements. You're confident that you know the UV. You're confident you found a breeder that is going to give you a well-produced baby that's going to have good genetics. You've checked all the boxes. So you're like, yep, I am doing as best as I can to give this the best chance possible. So if you're asking, am I ready? I'm not so sure. Then you probably would do well to spend a little more time.
Yeah, I think for me, it's all about making sure, because I think in the pet keeping world, I feel like, especially back in the days of pet tube and all that stuff, I think there was a little bit of a craze of people just getting a ton of species and a ton of reptiles all at once. And obviously in the reptile keeping hobby, that can happen very quickly and very easily. But I think I would always advise somebody to make sure that you are really passionate about that species. Make sure that it is a species. I know a lot of times, people will say oh, that's a more advanced species. Maybe start out with a crested gecko first or something like that, and they kind of say those kind of things. I think making sure that you are getting the species that you really care about and that you're really interested in and really passionate about versus just the prospect of getting another animal or another species. Make sure that it's one that you really are passionate about, because then that's just going to make it that much better of a situation for you and for the animal.
Yeah, and I can't agree more, because I feel like there's so much of the learning that goes down with the experience happening, right? But you just got to be able to keep the thing. First and foremost, when I think of advanced reptiles, I think of how much space does this reptile need?
Right.
If this reptile needs a lot of space, that's an advanced reptile in my book, because if you don't give it the space, a lot of these reptiles that need space, they will mess themselves up. If you don't give a certain monitor its space or a certain snake and you put it in a rack system or something, not all these are like ball pythons where you can put them in racks. You know what I mean? Ball pythons like racks because the way ball pythons are in the wild, they hunker down and they're like hog noses. They want to disappear. But then you have retics and other species that like to climb and just go everywhere. And if you don't have the proper husbandry, just going back to breeding, but not even breeding, just keeping. There's certain animals where if you don't keep it right, it's going to mess itself up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So true. Yeah, that's super important. And, you're less likely to make those mistakes, or less likely to not dive headfirst into the research and the care and the husbandry and all of that if it's an animal that you are just beyond excited about. You're like thrilled about that species and you're almost obsessing about it in your head, you know, versus just like, oh, well, I want another lizard, so I'm just gonna, you know, get this gecko or get this whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it just matters a lot more how much you're into it, you know?
The last thing I'd say on that is you have to make sure that you're proud of your current setup, because you're saying if you want to get more. So that's assuming you already have reptiles. But if you have animals that you're like, oh, I want to get this upgrade, or I'm going to do this down the line, or I'll get this later on, like, my 2 cents is you have to be proud and feel good about your enclosures and your care and everything currently. Like, max out what you can do with your animals, give them the absolute best life with what you have, then that would be an appropriate time to bring in
that's exactly why I'm not getting any new pets anytime soon, because I am in a major upgrade phase.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. That's so true. You know, if you're dealing with respiratory infections or like what mites or something, you should not be thinking of adding anything. Like, maybe add less.
Right.
Certainly not.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Mila, what you got? Wrap up topic.
All right, so Liza, tell me something about
Lissa.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. That works.
Tell me something about, so far from what I see, the animal you're most passionate about, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the yellow anaconda. Tell me something. You tell me something about the yellow anaconda that most people don't know or don't talk about, and then Neptune, you tell me something that people do not talk about when it comes to panther chameleons.
Okay.
Ooh. I think for the yellow anaconda, and you actually said it, Emilio, I think a lot of people, and I get this in my comments constantly, is people just don't realize how much smaller yellows are than greens. People, like, if you're not really involved in the hobby, like, people really don't know that. They just hear the word anaconda and picture like a 20-foot snake. I constantly have to tell people, like, A, this is a yellow, B, it's a male. So, like, just in general, when it comes to like anacondas, like, my specific individual is like the miniest mini anaconda that you can get in the hobby, you know? And so that's something I have to constantly tell people, because it feels like so many people don't know. And, you know, us in the hobby, that's like a very common thing. You know, you knew that, a lot of people know that, but it's really shocking to a lot of people who aren't, you know, as deep into the hobby. And then also just how semi-aquatic they are. You know, they love that water. And that's one of my favorite things about it, because it gives me, it's a challenge for me to kind of, you know, plan out a water feature and do all that stuff. I'm actually very anxious about it because I've never done it before, but it's, you know, it's critical for them to have like a big water area, and that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to make any comments on that? Sorry.
No. So true.
Like, hey, she gave, I love the answer she gave. She help some people out there.
Okay, this may be a low-hanging fruit, so you can tell me if you want me to give me my backup answer. But everyone's under the misconception that chameleons change colors, right, to like camouflage. And I see this a lot, again, with people who are outside the pet trade. And like, yes, chameleons do change colors, but I always describe it that they're more like a mood ring, and that they use their colors to communicate. And so they'll turn lighter or darker based off of temperature, mating behavior, feeling defensive, things like that. But they're never going to turn like purple polka dots. And the amount of times that I've told people that, I'm like, what? I had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, Pascal from the movie Tangled just like did us all dirty in the chameleon hobby, because he like turns all kinds of different colors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to show one of yours that you have on your page right now, because I mean, if you want to talk about reptiles that just will never get old looking at, like, that's just so cool looking. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, that's Neptune.
He's gorgeous.
Man, you know, and one of the things that I always geeked out over were macaws, like the bird macaws, like, you know, the coloration, like the blues and all that. And that's, ever seen a chameleon like this, that's what like it relates to, the color wise. And and you know, this is what brought me into the ball python game. Colors. Yeah, I love freaking colors, and this right here will never get old to me. I'm sorry. That's awesome.
No, and my last tidbit is chameleons just get such a bad rap.
Yeah.
Such a bad rap in the reptile hobby. Oh, I would never keep a chameleon. You know, they're so easy to kill and die and whatever else. But if you, just like with any reptile, if you do your research, if you set them up correctly and you buy a healthy animal, they're so maintainable. Like, they're I don't want to say easy, but it's very doable.
Yeah.
And it's not that much different than any other reptile species. It's just the margin for error
It's small.
and there's so much incorrect information. So I just want to give a little shout out to all the chameleon keepers out there because I know a lot of other people are not fans.
I'm glad you said that because green tree pythons, the exact same thing. Even emeralds, people are like, oh my God, they're so aggressive. And oh, doesn't it bite you? And I'm like, I mean, as long as it's not nighttime because they love to eat. But these snakes, I could just reach in and just grab right off the perch. I mean, you don't see me do it. Like he's been in my place. Like definitely misconception about a lot of these reptiles. And the aggression and all of that when it's not even aggression. It's more of like
defensiveness.
Defensive and just trying to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm glad you called that out because, a lot of the people who like to paint pictures that they're not are people who don't even actually keep the reptile. Like they're just, they're seeing what they see. They read it on Google or a comment and they gun ho on it. And
crazy.
And that's another thing. It's like, I've heard so many people who primarily are a podcast on one species, but then they try to talk about other species and they are confidently talking information that's completely wrong. And I'm just like, but then again, it's part of what we do. And,
it's the same with yellow anacondas. They get a really bad rap as well, just in terms of like defensiveness. And it was something that I was really nervous about because obviously it has the potential to be like my biggest snake. And so that was something I was adamant about. I was like, all right, that sucker's getting handled every day for an hour until he calms the hell down, because there is no chance that I'm going to have this animal and not be able to handle him. But now he's an angel and people are always surprised that I have a tame, handleable yellow anaconda. So
yeah. I love it. Great episode, guys. Hour and a half went by too quick. I'm not gonna lie. This was great. We do have hot seat questions for you. All right. I'm curious about what Emilio's hot seat questions are going to be because they're always ball python related, but not in this case. He's already thinking. He's already thinking right now. Look at him.
Yeah, I didn't even message them because I said I'm gonna go different with this one.
Good because we have different styles. Like me, I want to find this stuff out firsthand. Emilio, he wants to research it and he wants to know what you like first and get all that stuff. But, like I said, this was a different angle. There's, a lot of the people we bring on, either I know or he knows.
Yeah.
But I like it when Emilio's, we pull the rug out underneath him sometimes.
A little uncomfortable, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Is it really us in the hot seat?
All right, guys. Appreciate everyone tapping in. Get the likes up. Hot seat questions for the Wild Type Podcast. Girls, you guys ready? It's the quicker the better. That's how these work. Okay.
All right.
And you guys answer at the same time. You can't look at each other for advice. Like it's the same answer at the same time. Okay. All right, guys. Hot seat questions. And do your best, Neptune. If it's snake related, just kind of give us your best answer. Okay.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right, we go. Hot seat questions coming in hot. Here we go. Frozen, thawed, or live?
Ooh, I'm a frozen girl.
Frozen.
Well, thawed. Frozen thawed.
A cut or no cut?
No cut.
Ooh. Honestly, I'm gonna say no cut, but I've also never experienced it. So
all right. Red baby chondro or yellow baby chondro?
Ooh, red.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
I'm a middle ground because I'm yay imports for breeders, but nay imports for keepers.
Imports, yeah.
Oh,
so I think that only breeders should.
So I
was talking like Fast and the Furious imports. Like, no, I'm talking like importation of reptiles and stuff like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I think I'm yay for breeders.
What would be one reptile if you guys can? Doesn't matter about the space, but what's one dreamy reptile you would love to import to your collection if you can?
Ooh,
Miller's chameleon.
Yeah, that's a big one for you. This one's not an import necessarily, but Gila monster. That's my ultimate top tier. Nice. That's my ultimate goal.
Do you like beetles as well? Beetle lizards?
I like beetles, but I'm just a sucker for the orange and black of the Gila.
I'm more Gila. I love beetles, but Gilas are more of a childhood staple for me than a beetle.
Yeah, it's 100% from my childhood for sure.
To spray or mist a reptile, or to never spray and mist a reptile?
Ooh, well,
mist. I have chameleons. There's no other option.
Yay sports or boo sports?
Ooh, boo sports.
Wow, quick.
I'll say yay.
Okay,
depends on the sport.
I'm just not a sports girly.
Neptune, what's your favorite sport?
I just watched the Olympics. I like Olympic sports. Like track, gymnastics, diving.
What about the breakdancing? Australian breakdancing?
Fun fact: I can break dance.
Really?
Like, I know how to break dance. So catch me at NRBC Dallas. I'll do a little something.
I better see that at the auction. I swear to God. Okay, this one's important. Don't cap. Ready? Big flexor or no flexor?
Oh, what do you mean?
What flexor? Just like in general, someone who flexes.
Do you girls flex or not? Come on, let's be real. You guys
Oh,
flexers
I
or
mean,
not?
I flex my animals.
Big flex. I work out. No.
Your podcast is flexing pretty hard right now.
We appreciate that. Yeah,
I
sure.
will say.
We'll lean into it. Big flex.
Yeah.
All right. Steak or fish?
Ooh, steak.
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
Ooh, filet.
Filet mignon.
Yeah.
Medium rare.
For sure.
Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Yay.
Yeah, yay.
Favorite alcohol beverage? Like what's your can't go wrong with it?
Rum and Coke with lime.
A
Okay.
frozen pina colada.
Wow. Okay, good to know. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
Ooh,
West Coast.
West, yeah.
Favorite West Coast rapper of all time?
Oh, this one's so embarrassing. I'm a diehard G-Eazy fan.
Oh, that's not that bad. I mean, it's kind of. I mean,
Oh,
Jesus,
I've loved that man since 2012, and nothing's stopping me.
I like Eminem, but he's not really a coast to coast
True.
he's
Yeah.
right
rapper.
there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
consider him East, but he's Detroit, and that's kind of its own.
Yeah.
It's middle ground.
Music, that's where the music birth of everything started was Detroit. So,
Yeah. He's my number one though.
Yeah.
all right, little word association. Say the first thing to come to mind. You ready?
No, this is a lot. Okay. Yep.
Milk,
Cookies.
Strawberry.
stuck shed,
Uh-oh.
FedEx shipping.
Oh,
Slow.
Slow. Yeah.
One reptile show you would like to attend.
Ooh.
Tinley.
Yeah, we want to go to Tinley again.
All right, Instagram trolls.
Ugh.
That.
Last but not least, whatever comes to mind. You ready? Coolest reptile network in the world.
Trap talk.
You guys.
We'll give it up to you.
I really wanted to hear Neptune say it, but whatever.
I said you guys.
I'm just kidding. All right, Emilio, what do you got? Let's go.
All right,
don't go
guys.
easy on him.
All right, guys. One's got to go. Okay.
Okay.
Retic or Berm?
Ooh.
Ooh. Retech.
Berm.
Oh, who said Retic? Was that you? Ah, okay. I like Berm.
I
We're
just love the
split.
berms. They're just
We're-
the sweetest.
We're split.
They're
Yeah,
split, yeah.
I'm Retic's got to go for me.
Yeah.
Unless it's a super dwarf.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
Factual.
Yeah.
All right. Ball python or hognose?
Ooh, hognose.
Damn, I like that.
Gotta go.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, gotta go.
Gotta
Oh, sorry.
go.
Ball python. My bad.
Whoa!
Sorry,
dude.
y'all.
I will say hognose gotta go. I like the
I'm-
ball python.
I'm a sucker
All right.
specifically for the snow hognoses. I love those ones.
Yes.
I
I have
think
one.
we're still at a split here.
All right. Emerald or chondro?
Ooh, chondro.
yeah.
We
Wait,
gotta go or
Oh,
stay?
I keep mixing that up. My
remember, it's
God.
gotta go. Gotta
Emerald, gotta go.
chondro.
I'm with.
Damn,
I'm
you
with
guys are
Melissa.
split on everything so far.
Yeah.
All right. Bearded dragon or blue tongue skink?
Beardy.
Beardy.
Get it out.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
People ask me all the time, and I'll never have a beardy.
hey, no beardy hate, but I just don't like them.
Same.
I
All
think
right,
that's a little bit hate. So you don't like this.
Just a little.
Yeah, leopard gecko or crested gecko?
Ooh, crested gecko, gotta go.
Leopard gecko.
Dude, we need. What is my baby chondro going to eat? We need crested geckos. Come on.
Yeah, and leopard gecko gotta go for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I
That
love
fat
them.
tails.
All right, Chihuahua or lychee?
Ooh,
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. I love a good lychee.
It's Kahua, by the way, not Chihuahua. You
Oh,
wouldn't say Chondros.
Yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
for
Good
correcting
call.
me.
Good call
I know
out.
very little about those two. I really
No,
don't.
okay. Hey, real quick, pause on this. I was at Brian Susan's house and I kept saying that, and he's like, do you call Chondros Chondros? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, but,
He's like,
but you want to know something? A lot of people call it that.
right?
Yeah, that's what I always
hear.
said.
I hear it a lot.
It's Ka, not Cha. It's Ka.
Yeah, ka.
Okay.
Okay.
Kahua.
Kahua. All right.
Kahua.
I have one, and I didn't even get that pronunciation
All right.
correctly.
All right. The homie's gonna like this one. Okay. Yellow tree monitor or blue tree monitor?
Ooh, yellow gotta go.
I didn't even know there was blue.
Yeah, no, blues
What?
are cool. They're the coolest.
Like adults are blue?
Yes. Oh my God.
They're
yeah.
crazy. Oh, we'll show her pics after.
Okay.
They're so cool.
All right, I'm gonna let MJ. What do you gotta say about that?
No comment.
All right. I really like blues as babies. All right.
Oh,
when the blue gets a little darker, I saw a yellow adult, and oh my God.
That's fair.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's totally fair.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I got, guys.
Wow,
Awesome.
you guys did it. See, that was hey,
survived.
Like I said, it was a pleasure having you girls on, and I know you guys will be back on for round 2 at some point. But for anyone out there who's very curious as far as where to follow all you guys, are you guys mainly Instagram heavy, or like where should people follow you guys at?
YouTube. We're over 1,000 subs on YouTube, so feel free to check out the pod. Every Tuesday we release a new episode. So tomorrow, bright and early, you can give us a subscribe over at the Wild Type Podcast. You can follow me, Neptune the Chameleon. I'm also on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the things.
Yeah, same. And mine's Lissa's Lizards everywhere. So
I'm going to put all the links to your podcast and then also your Instagram account in the description below. So people go give them a follow and hit that sub. And again, thank you for coming on. And I'll see you guys this weekend. Let me know if you guys can make it to the mayor's. Bills, I'll give you details on his party Friday. I would love it if you guys were to come. There's going to be over 100 people. It's going to be a good show. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. But guys, do me a favor. Go give them a follow. Give it up for Lissa and Neptune, the Wild Type Podcast. It's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
guys. We appreciate y'all. This was awesome.
Thank you, ladies. Have a good night. I'll see you this week.
Yes.
Sounds good. Peace.
Great show, man. That was great.
So much confidence.
Yeah, I love it. It was
so much passion. Super confident. They're gonna kick butt. They're kicking butt already.
They are kicking butt. No, for reals. I did not know they had super strong other social media platforms. I was looking them up. And dude, they're killing it, bro.
Yeah,
those girls are killing it right now. And mind you, just doing their thing, you know, like nothing clickbaity, nothing cringy. Like this is my type of content. If you're a female, like, man, please go give these girls a follow, please. They're doing it right. So, but good episode. I appreciate it. Emilio, appreciate you tapping in. Let's see. Yeah, shit. You won't be at Texas this week, like we already talked about.
Yeah.
When is your next show out of Florida? Is it going to be Cali show probably?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That I keep talking to Alvaro and Eslin about it. That we're gonna find a way. I'm gonna jump on that train. We're gonna do it.
Let me know how I can help, bro. Please do. And appreciate good times tonight. Appreciate you as always, guys. Please go give them a follow. Villarino Reptiles on Instagram. The B Unit group chat on IG is something not to sleep on as well. Appreciate all the V-Unit family members who tapped in, and appreciate you, Emilio. But guys, give it up for the homie Big E Top G. It's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, guys.
Talk to you soon, buddy. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you everyone out there who enjoyed tonight's podcast. Please hit that like button for the Wild Type Podcast females who did such a great job tonight, man. Shout out to Lissa. Shout out to Neptune. And yeah, drop a comment. Let me know what you like best. Just a reminder, if you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to get early releases to certain interviews that I pre-record, then you're going to want to definitely join the Trap Talk Patreon family. You could join the Patreon page by clicking the first link in the description below. Get a link to a Discord, group chat on IG, all amazing ways to connect with some of the best doing it. All right. So guys, no All in the Tree Tuesdays tomorrow. Okay. I am flying out to Texas first thing Wednesday morning. I have a podcast Wednesday, podcast Thursday, podcast Saturday, Friday, and podcast Saturday. All right. So Tuesday is really going to be like a Friday episode, just so you know. So all my All in the Tree Tuesday fanatics, don't worry. I'm going live and direct from the mayor's party Friday. That's right. Anyone who has FOMO, tap in Friday night right here on the Trap Talk Reptile Network, and you're going to see the party live and direct from Bill Stiegel's place. All right. So thank you to everyone out there. And again, thank you to Lissa and Neptune. Episode 536 in the books. I'll see you here Wednesday, and I'm out.